Minions and Monsters is a film that came out recently. That's all I can really say about it. I thought it was quite cute, with plot points feeling kind of boring and unnatural, like characters like Dort and Debbie feeling so naturally shoved into the plot. The film begins similarly to the first Minions film, going from boss to boss, accidentally getting rid of each one, even stealing a magic monster summoning spellbook. We get into my favourite part of the film. I'm a big film nerd, and in the first 30-minute mark, it is just full of so many different film references. There's a lot I understood, but there was a lot I missed for how much is crammed into a single scene. Like, when did we reference The Great Dictator? What the hell? I mean, the whole segment itself is a great train robbery parody, which also parodied itself back in the early 1900s, being the first ever film parody. This is where we meet Max, a film director, who recruits some minions to star in his films. The big mean producers, or like distributors, didn't like the Minions' impact, so they were all fired. Very sad. This era of the Minions is vaguely set during or just before the Great Depression, although with the specific films they're referencing, this could really be set at the start of World War II, like 1941-ish, although talkies were just becoming a thing, so I assume 1927, but with the future knowledge of the films they're referencing. This is where my theory comes in, that the Minions ended the Great Depression. They retell the story about how they got their overalls for some reason. Just in case you forgot, I guess. And I like the theory that forward in time in the Minions movie, when they get their overalls, that is from an old Minions fan. Pretty much confirmed that there are different Minion tribes, so no matter how much the creator denies this theory, there must have been at least one Minion at that time, as they were Hollywood stars. I heard a theory, it's more directed towards Disney, but how their new films are made for short-form content in mind, having each scene framed for things like TikTok, YouTube, Shorts and Instagram. Illumination is also quite bad for this. But Minions and Monsters feels quite cinematic. I mean, this film is framed really nicely. It feels like a love letter to cinema, even if its existence itself feels like it's taken cinema for granted. Now, is there anything else to know about Minions and Monsters? The magic element into the series. As it grew, kind of ruined the series a little bit for me, because as I preferred the wacky inventions of the old films. The magic feels a bit forced into the plots, and I don't really like it. Another thing that the end of this film kind of confirms is that the Minions don't have parts, which makes me think their butts are just for show. Or do they like pee out of their eyes or something, like crabs? One more thing is that this is a film within a film. It's revealed at the end that all this time it was the Minions making this film. In fact, Ed was filming everything, which also became a film. So this is a film within a film within a film. So I ponder on which aspects were a true story, or which parts were altered. I mean, Goomy is revealed to be an actor, but not the other monsters. We know magic exists when Raza grew. In fact, it's now confirmed in the post-credit scene that Kyle, the dog, I guess neglected in Despicable Me 4, was actually a monster from the magic spellbook. All of this, I can assume this is an accurate biopic. Now we move on to Minions 2015. As we can estimate, Minions and Monsters is set around 1927, as Hollywood was introducing talkies as the mainstream. And from hints throughout the film, ignoring the Beatles' very clear late 60s clothing, this film is set late 50s, early 60s. Editing this, I'm realizing the set date of this is 1968, as there is a very obvious 1968 Nixon posters about. So it makes sense for this film to be set over the years 1968 and 1969 for the Abbey Road reference to make sense. Although this starts at the prehistoric evolution of the Minions, and unlike Minions and Monsters, this film explains the evolution of the Minions in a way I really enjoy. This is somehow the lowest rated Minions, somehow. I really like this actually. This film is just a really nice story of the Minions finding their first true boss, although now this film is completely overshadowed by the amount of meddling Illumination is doing to the series. This is a popular place in the series where people say it should have ended here. I would agree, but the Minions bring me so much joy. There would be so much to say about this film if the other Minions films didn't feel like a sitcom episode where they never bring up the past, and it seems like every film they try and be bigger than the last. But Scarlet is a fantastic villain, although I am a bit confused because when I see Scarlet and Herb, I see cinephiles, I see flower power, I see Letterboxd users. How did they not know Minions? How did they not know of the Minions, famous Hollywood stars from the 20s? Herb would definitely have Modern Times in his top 4. The Minions were on that set. This is such a fun and cute film. Continuity-wise, it makes sense so far. The characters are lovable and rememberable. Bob, Stuart and Kevin are just irreplaceable. But they still attempt to, in the 80s, with perhaps the most anticipated release of the entire series. It just had to be that. It was huge. Me, a big Minion connoisseur I saw opening day. It was such a fun night. I still have the physical cinema ticket on my bedroom wall. Weirdly, completely unrelated, but it was the last night I ever had meat. It's completely, like I said, completely irrelevant and unrelated, but I have been a strong vegetarian ever since I watched Minions As I Grew. I had McDonald's for the first time that night, and it was absolutely awful. Minions As I Grew starts with Big Evil 6, whatever the villain group is called, evilly betraying their founder, for no reason. I don't think there was actually a reason for this other than they wanted a forced character arc or something. They defeat the evil guys using magic or something. This film is boring. And incredibly style over substance. Like, this film is stylish. I like the aesthetics of everything, but perhaps this film could have stayed delayed. Forever. They meet Gru at the end of Minions 2015, making him at least 20 years old here. And the magic spellbook turning Gru's dog into the iconic Kyle is reversed, as shown here. Maybe Minions 2015 is a retelling of what the Minions remember from that time. So maybe we just didn't remember Kyle being a regular dog. Maybe Minions 2015 was also a film the Minions made as a biopic, and they just couldn't reverse Kyle back for that one scene. But everything this film gets a pass for the final interaction with Bob and Scarlet. It's just super cute. I'm not going to question the Minion logic of how they caught up with Gru here for the next film in the timeline, because Minions are just insane. It might honestly just be a new tribe of Minions, and Bob, Stuart and Kevin are not seen in the following film. Little side, another edit again. Kevin is. I just forgot about that. I think another way Minions succeeded better than Raz Gru is that the Minions became way too human by release day, trying too hard to make them the main plot. When Minions work best when they have somebody to go off, like Gru or Scarlet. They were written too human-like. Even their language is becoming too understandable to us. That is making all of the characters so forgettable as they could be replaced by Minions and the film would still be the same. Although a drop in quality for Minions, it's still quite a cute prequel, mostly showing the chemistry between Gru and his Minions before. We can scrap all the magic elements now that we are onto the film I unironically adore. From here on, the Minions Despicable Me series is set in the 2010s, which makes a lot of references in 4 not make any sense, but oh well, like BTS phone. Despicable Me 2010 is a heart-driven and very funny film. The voice actors truly giving it their all. They're all very talented. Never does this film feel very boring. For a film, only an hour and 30, you would think that's hard, but you'll need to watch Minions Rise of Gru to see how they successfully make a 1 hour 30 film feel boring. I think everybody who has clicked on this video has seen this film. It's about an insecure villain competing with a much younger and more relevant supervillain who compete to steal the moon. All of these characters, in fact, are all very relatable, and I think anybody watching this can put themselves into each character at some point, because they just feel so human. I think my favourite thing about this film, apart from the beautiful little yellow guys, is Gru. Gru learning to be a father figure to the orphans he adopted purely to steal a gadget from Victor, the best villain of all of fiction. It's a nonsense plot, but this film naturally feels so driven by actual emotion, unlike a lot of Illumination and Disney films. I have no shame in saying Despicable Me 2010 is perfect. Maybe as a huge film nerd and wannabe filmmaker, I should grow out of films like Despicable Me, but seeing the films like The Godfather be referenced in Despicable Me, all I can think of is, I'm so glad I'm watching Despicable Me right now, and not The Godfather. Maybe even becoming a film student made me appreciate this film a lot more. I mean, look at these shot types, oh my goodness. And I also love its way of storytelling, though I wish there was a little more filler, making it longer. Despicable Me 2, the sequel, has a mother figure to the goals come into the picture, having Gru choose between a family life and a very cheeky villain life. The animation is stunning here, maybe a little too good. Like, no, this can't get away with looking like old footage. I think my favourite animation will have to go with the second film still. Despicable Me 3, though also being set around in the 2010s, probably around 2013-14, starts in the 80s, back in the Rise of Gru times. We get introduced by this film's villain, Balthazar Brat, voiced by, again, my beloved Trey Parker of South Park. All I can hear is Terrence and Randy. A failed child actor, now villain, as he plans to steal something, I can't remember. And now that Gru is part of the AVL, the Anti-Villain League, it was like a whole arc back in over that too, but just a note now, he's a good guy now, happy face, with his new wife Lucy. It didn't last long as their boss, Steve Coogan, has now retired, being replaced by this meanie who fires Gru and Lucy. Sad face. Gosh, this film is going fast. Despicable Me 3 is about Gru meeting his twin brother who lives in the vague place in the Mediterranean. It's cute, a little funny, but it just feels like a dulled down versions of 1 and 2. Very luckily, when this film is being unique, you have these spikes of quality of like gadgets or vehicles being creative and architecturally interesting. I wrote this script in my friend's DMs, so I just say yaps this. It's a decently cute film. I still cried at anything Agnes did, but Gru went from being my favourite character to the character's plot I care least about. Same goes for Drew, he is just an irritating character. I miss the minions. Yeah, same. Balthazar Brat plans to destroy Hollywood for taking his show off the air years ago. He's just doing this now. So Gru and Drew try and stop him by going to the Mediterranean to his secret base, located presumably just outside of the Hollywood coast, as Brat's robot literally, yeah, he has a big robot, literally walks there. That's quite the distance to travel in one day, there and back. That's quite the distance. Close enough to the Mediterranean time zone. And I'm pretty sure that scene is set in the morning, meaning it's going to be about 2 AM there. And how did Brat manage to tie up Lucy? Do you realise what Lucy is actually capable of? But I do love the following scene of Drew depression eating ice cream. I love that. This is a way early in the film, but you see Dr. Nefario being frozen, meaning he has no lines for the entire film. Being such a beloved character, sidekick of Bruce, this is such a funny way of writing the character out of the series once the creators found out the voice actor was not a very good person. He's luckily back with a way better voice actor in Despicable Me 4 then. Speaking of, where is Drew? I would be lying if I didn't end my Despicable Me rewatch with a huge grin on my face. These films are just so stupid. But oh my god, where to start with 4? It's by far the dullest installment of the series, with famous actors playing shallow, forgettable characters and a lot of nostalgia bait. Like, I thought that's what Rise of Gru was for. This is the only film I did not rewatch for this video, but what I recall from it is that this film starts with Drew going overcover. We assume he got his AVL job back as he was fired last. But he got the big diamond at the end, so he must have his job back. To the School of Villainy. We see a lot of the police here. For what I recall, we only see them in scenes set in Europe for some reason. Like, we see them in London and we see them in the Mediterranean. So how does this place not get investigated sooner? These people are doing quite horrific stuff, and they're all coming from a place with evil in the name. You can't release a song for this film that has quite decent storytelling and then release this film straight after. Yeah, Pharrell Williams' Double Life storytelling is just 10,000 times better than Despicable Me 4 itself. This poster pretty much sums up the entire film. Unlike other animated series like Toy Story or The Incredibles, I hate to side with Disney here, who evolve with the audience correctly, but still make their films easily accessible for new audiences. Despicable Me devolves, not taking any opportunity to grow in its way of storytelling or themes. It's like they don't realise little old me, Maddie, who watched the first film at cinemas, and every single film since then is now old and unk. But I still want to watch the funny little Minion films with actual character growth. Surprised if this film's storyboards were just bullet points. Right, now for a ranking. It is now 11:15 at night. Doing a Despicable Me tier list. Despicable Me, yeah, that's really, really good. Despicable Me 2, I've never seen this poster for it though. Really, really good. Wait, I think it's really, really good. Despicable Me 3, a duller version of 1 and 2, I'd put it in B. Minions, A, I think it's really, really cute, so okay. Razagru, I'd put actually above Despicable Me 3, and then Despicable Me 4 in D. Minions and Monsters, I would put after Razagru and just before Minions. So in A tier. Or a high B. I would end this video with the Brat line, "Now that's what I call entertainment," because he's from the 80s, of course, cutting to the Jam song with credits, but this isn't a film, this is a YouTube video, which I cannot have any copywritten material.